Michael Olise has told teammates and people close to him that he wants to leave Bayern Munich for Real Madrid, according to a report from the French newspaper L'Équipe. That's the headline coming out of this story, and here's everything you need to know. According to the report, Olise has shared his intentions privately with fellow members of the French national team, signaling that a move to the Spanish capital is something he's actively pursuing. This isn't an official transfer request, and it isn't a formal approach from Real Madrid either. Right now, this is being described as Olise's personal preference, communicated within his circle rather than through official club channels. Bayern Munich, for their part, want to keep him. He's a key piece of their attack, and there's no indication the club is open to selling this summer. But that stance isn't necessarily permanent. If Olise makes his desire to leave known directly to Bayern's hierarchy, in a formal face-to-face conversation, the club's position could shift. In other words, Bayern's resistance right now is rooted in the fact that nothing has been made official. That could change once it does. Real Madrid, meanwhile, are aware of the situation, but they're not making any moves yet. Their approach is to wait, specifically for Olise to have that direct conversation with Bayern's leadership before considering any official approach of their own. It's a fairly standard piece of transfer strategy. Real Madrid don't want to trigger a public standoff with Bayern without knowing first whether Olise is actually going to push for the exit himself. That's really the crux of the situation. For this move to happen, Olise likely needs to take the initiative. His contract in Munich runs through the summer of 2029, meaning Bayern have no financial pressure to sell him now or anytime soon. There's no expiring deal forcing their hand. If Bayern want to hold on to him, they're fully within their rights to do so, and there's little Real Madrid can do about it unless Olise applies pressure from the inside. That's why the report frames this as a high-risk approach for the player. Pushing to leave a club that just invested heavily in you, and that has no intention of selling, can strain a relationship. It's the kind of move that can shift a player's standing with coaches, teammates, and the front office, even if the transfer eventually happens. To understand why this rumor carries weight, it helps to look at how Olise got to Bayern and how his time there has gone. Olise joined Bayern Munich in the summer of 2024, arriving from Crystal Palace in a transfer worth close to £50 million. It was viewed at the time as shrewd business, given how strong his final season in the Premier League had been, developing into one of the most productive wide players outside the traditional top six clubs. His first season in Bavaria gave little indication of any dissatisfaction. Olise adapted quickly to Bundesliga football, contributing goals and assists from the wing, and becoming a regular starter under head coach Vincent Kompany. Bayern won the Bundesliga title that campaign, and Olise was widely credited as one of the league's more successful new arrivals. On paper, his time in Munich has looked like a success story, which is part of what makes this report notable. A move away wouldn't be driven by struggles to fit in or a lack of playing time. If anything, it would be a case of a player performing well and still looking for something more. As for Real Madrid, their interest fits a broader pattern. The club has consistently pursued elite wide players in recent years, often tracking targets for multiple seasons before making a move. Their attacking options are already stocked with high-profile names, but squad turnover is a constant at a club competing on every front. Adding another dynamic winger capable of playing across multiple attacking positions fits the profile of what Madrid has typically looked for. So, what happens from here? The next real checkpoint is whether Olise actually sits down with Bayern's hierarchy and formally states that he wants to leave. Until that happens, this remains speculation, even if it comes from a credible source with reported access to people close to the player. If that conversation takes place and Bayern's stance softens as the report suggests it might, that would signal a genuine negotiation between the two clubs could follow. For now, this remains a situation worth monitoring rather than a deal in motion. We'll continue to track this story as it develops, particularly around any official meetings between Olise and Bayern Munich's front office, which appear to be the next major step in determining where this goes.